Everyone, it's Teacher Lina. Today's update is on my Perfect Fit toe pads, which I am wearing right now inside of my shoes. I am finally on my 7th day, or I guess today is my 8th day because I couldn't film yesterday because I had a lot of classes to teach. But I'm going to be noting down all the tips that I can give you for molding. So again, the Perfect Fit, well, I still have my second mold. It comes in a really nice box, and I have the molding process up in another YouTube video. But I just wanted to show you guys, like, it comes in a box, it has like the putty and the plastic, and it has instructions. It comes pretty secure, yeah. And these are, yeah, and I have not felt this good to be on my pointe shoes. They're so much better than any other padding that I've used, and I feel like my toes have been saved. But at the same time, what's nice about these toe pads specifically is that it only supports the part that you need the most. So that's something that I really love about these pads, is that those places that you need to feel, like with the floor, you really feel them, like the bottom part. And also there's not much padding on, or there's not much molding actually on the sides, which I really love, because when I used to wear toe pads, the thing is, since it would cover like the whole thing, I wouldn't be able to feel any part of my shoe. But right now I do feel it. So those parts that I really want to feel, I really feel, and those parts that I feel like are the empty spaces, because of course my feet are shaped differently, are kind of filled with the filling that came, or the molding that came with the shoe. Alright. So yes, in the end I fell in love with them. I love using them. It's so much easier also now to get up on point. It's so much easier to roll through also my feet. So I really feel like it's so much easier to do a lot of things on them. Yes, and pointing is easier. I feel like I don't sink in my shoe. I feel like also I'm well supported on my shoe, which I love so much. So after 7 days, it felt a lot better. If you watch my videos, you probably know that around the second and third day, I kind of felt like it was weird, maybe because I wasn't used to it. And I just want to point that out, because I feel like there was a breaking in time for myself. So around the third day, I felt like this isn't so bad. But during the first and the second day, the first day was really like, wow, amazing, because I wasn't able to feel much pain. Kind of a bit of like, I had a bit of doubts, like in the back of my mind, like, is this really gonna work? Second day came in, I was also a bit doubting the toe pads. I had a hard time actually turning in them. I felt like I was always like, I couldn't push off of my shoe, like maybe like go up fully on point when I was turning. So whenever I turn, I'd kind of just fall off to the side or something, which I really didn't like. But maybe it was because I felt like this super pull from this toe pad that I normally don't feel in my pointe shoes, because I love to push down and just kind of pull up through my body, but my shoe would sink just a little bit. So that pull-up feeling was something that was kind of new from me, I guess, from my shoe. I often see that when I turn, is that I never sometimes get to go fully on top, maybe because I start sinking down towards the back when, yeah, I'd compensate on some points. And with these toe pads, I actually was able to do a lot better, even on releves. I feel a lot more like up and high there, which I think is like not just the pain, but like no pain, but it's a lifesaver. I would like to point out though, because there are people who say that my toes were painful, and then when I wore them, the pain went away. It's not that the pain goes away. I mean, like, there is like an amount of pain that goes with using your pointe shoes regardless of the toe pads. But I think the pain now is more of just, it's like the pain in your arches or the muscles, like the parts that are really working, rather than pain that's like, oh, it's starting to get so painful because I'm starting to sink into my shoes, or I'm starting to crumple this part of my toes. So none of that I felt anymore in these toe pads. So I feel like it's great. I haven't had blisters. I don't really get much blisters, so I don't know how that would work on people who do get blisters. But I do feel like I stopped sinking into the back part of my foot, which I do quite a lot when I start to push over my shoe and my shoe starts to get soft. So I love that also. And another thing was, because my when I molded my toe pads, I actually have lesser molding on the bottom part of my shoe, which you probably saw in my molding process. I felt as though that was really good because right now I can feel the floor really well also when I do jumps. Is that I can really feel like the part where I really touch the floor and the foot mold and everything. It's, I think, genius. It's like, not to say. I'll do another update, like a 1-month update, to show you guys like how I'm doing with them and maybe what I'm experiencing in them. But I feel like this is the best I can give you after 7 days, is that I think they're worth the shot. They say that you either love them or hate them, but I do want to say that you do have to give it time. So don't give it 1 day and say it doesn't work for me, or 2 days and not work for you, because it did take me about 7 days to get used to them. Right now I feel like they're more molded or more in shape with my foot. So I think that the toe pads also kind of changed a little bit as I started to use them, especially when I wanted to roll through my feet a lot more. With that being said, I do have like 2 really important tips for you in case you're going to start molding your Perfect Pointe fit or you plan to get them. Really roll through them a lot. I made that mistake of not rolling into them too much because I have like a longer second toe, and in their video online they say how you should stand on your demi point and go on full slowly like this, and just kind of like lengthen through the top of your foot and just do this, which I did a lot. Okay, and that's good, that's like rolling through also, but afterwards I just felt like a lot of the putty went straight into the top of the shoe. And if you're not really used to wearing a lot of padding, so try to observe like the kind of padding you wear, because the kind of padding that I used to wear was really thin. So I am not used to having so much support here on the top area, which I guess I needed, but also don't need so much of. So I would say roll through a lot so that the putty comes out a lot more on the top. So if you have the chance to, when you use your toe pads, just really go through demi and full a lot, so that the putty also doesn't overfill the top space, which is what happened to me, because on the second day, I remember I was saying on the video how I felt like it's kind of weird because I overdid like the top part. The top part had too much putty for me, which I didn't like. My second tip for doing the molding is that they say that you should just put more and then everything else will come out. I would personally just say put a little bit less if you're not used to a lot of padding. But again, if you're used to like the thick paddings, like the gel ones, or you're used to feeling your shoes or your feet cramped inside, by all means, I think you should use all of the putty. But I feel as though you can use a little bit less, like leave like a coin, I don't know, like a little coin size, or like an inch size coin, to just be out of it. And then eventually, if you feel like you need support in certain parts, you can use that putty to just remold those areas, which I didn't do. But what I did was actually I scraped off part of the top of my molding, just because it felt so tight on the top. It felt so cramped. I was used to thinner toe pads, so I really got my scissors and started scraping, or a cutter, and I started scraping off the top, and it feels so much better now because it feels like I can roll through smoothly, which maybe I wasn't able to do in the molding process. So again, take note that we do a lot of rolling throughs when we go through full point, right? Because we don't go up on point, plie, and then up like this. Like, we don't jump on our toes, right? That's weird, that's gross. Okay, don't do that. But when we do releves, right, we pass through the demi and then the full. So think about like how you need that, because even rolling through like the floor, you know, when you'd step, you'd have to roll through your toes. So try to take note of that feeling, yeah, of needing to roll through again your demi point. And of course for your jumps, you need that also. And to push, you don't just go plie and again point your toes. So when you're molding, I just want you to take note of those 2 things, which I think is super important when you're molding your point shoes. Don't just stand on your toes only and then like walk around, which I see very often in videos. So I feel as though going through the demi point is really important. And yeah, and you can also do some pressing here on the top of your foot like this, which we often do as dancers, right? So you can press through the top as you're molding. which I found very helpful also, and I'm gonna do on my second mold for my next shoes. That being said, it didn't work though to use them on my gainer mindens. Right now I'm using Freeds. I don't know how it would work on other shoes. I do use Grishkos, so I will try to use them on my Grishkos, but it did not work on my gainer mindens, probably because the shoe shape was really different. So it does say, or other people do say the same thing, so I am wondering if it works on some people, but I do have someone who actually said it works on their other shoes. I don't know about everyone else, but it might be different per person. Those are my pros and like my reviews, my tips on like your molding process. My cons though, I do want to note down is that it does say in the website that it takes 6 months to, like you only can use them for 6 months to a year depending on how much you use them. So I guess if you're a professional dancer, they wouldn't last you because you'd use them every day, as compared to someone who's just in school and not really doing ballet full-time. Maybe they might last you a little longer. Also not sure what it's really made of. I am not sure. I should read through that. If anyone knows like if it's eco-friendly or something. The reason why, or most of the reason why I got this is also because I don't like, or I don't want to wrap my toes anymore, or I want my kids to stop wrapping their toes because it's so wasteful to be wasting all this Band-Aid and Cool Fever or whatever else you put inside your shoe, which just kind of puffs the shoe up, and I don't know, you just throw them away right after. So I really wanted like an alternative to that, and I feel like this is a great solution to just reducing that kind of waste also in the environment. Overall verdict, I would say give them a try. As a teacher, I'm really just gonna say it has saved like the feeling of my toes, especially when I teach long classes where I taught on Friday. I remember using my toe pads on Friday where I teach 3-point classes, so it was really good for me since I was able to last all 3 classes without much pain towards the end. Typically towards the end of the 3rd class, I'm kind of like, am I really gonna drill my toes again for the last time doing the same exercise? But this one really felt like it saved my toes, or these toe pads or this molding solution, the Perfect Fits, saved my toes a lot from that pain. And at the same time, I just felt so up on my toes. It felt so good to turn, it felt so good to jump, it felt so good to do releves. So I find that was really important. And if it's going to make me perform better, then I would take the toe pads, I mean like for a long time. I've never really suffered from much foot pain in the past. I do want to point out I do use really thin toe pads, but I never really realized it until now that I do sink into some parts until I started using the toe pads. But suddenly I felt less burdened to think about the pain and more of just to pull up or to roll through. It was a lot nicer, and I was able to focus a lot more on my work rather than focusing onto the toes, which are kind of painful, or I want to shake my foot or something. So I think it would also reduce some of the bad habits that I have, which also includes like the sinking on some parts of my foot. So that's it. That's my review after 7 days. If you do want to give it a try, of course, just go to their website and try it out. I would say get the 2-box set if you're not sure. I feel like it's a cheaper alternative also, rather than to just get the 1-box, molding. I got 2 honestly because I was thinking I would make a mistake and then I'd have to do a second one, but I didn't. But at least now I have the second one and I don't have to order again, especially as someone who lives really far away from the United States. So I had to do this and get the 2-box set. I'll give the other one to my sister, or maybe just mold myself a second pair. And I hope that you learned something new from my new vlog. This is Teacher Lina of Dance by Lina and Studio Dance by Lina. Let us know what else you'd love to hear or review on our channel. I am changing so much of the direction of our website, and you can visit dancebylina.com for all of our items and our dancewear in our shop. And we hope to see you till the next vlogs. Let us know what else you'd love to hear. Bye!